All right, cool. So the goal here is to show you guys step by step how to get through this process, right? So if you guys are just starting this process off right now, I'm gonna pretend that you haven't even looked at this stuff and you wanna, get started right now and where to start when it comes to, bill remittance and restrictive endorsements and special endorsements. So we're gonna start specifically with the step-by-step process that I laid out for you guys. Um, it's in a very it's in a very specific order for the simple fact that you want to do the power of attorney first. So what we're going to do is first we're going to create the power of attorney letter. I'm going to walk you through how it works, how to send it, where to send it, so you guys don't have any confusion with that. But the reason you want to send the power of attorney first is because you want to revoke all of their power as attorney, right? If you don't do this, then you're giving them a little bit more reason to make decisions on your behalf because right now they've always had power of attorney and they will continue to have it until you remove it. So we're going to go right to the power of attorney letter that I shared with you guys here, right? And this is, you're going to do the same thing when you get to the campus. You're going to copy this letter just as is. I'm going to show you what you need to do, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and add it to a Word document. Okay, perfect. So now we're on the Word document. I'm going to start editing this and showing you how to edit this letter, right? Gotta fix this. All right, that's much better. Crazy. All right. So what I want to do here is I usually do this, guys, with official documents. You don't have to do this. I do this. This is a like I prefer to do this. I put the number of pages on there because that way they can't claim anything is lost, etc. But this is just a preference, right? This is something I do, guys. It's not mandatory. All right, cool. So now I've numbered all the pages, but that's cool. Again, it's not mandatory. So I don't really need to go through this part. You're just gonna put your information, right? Name, address, city, etc. Then you're gonna put the creditor's name, okay? So in this case, who is the creditor? Okay. We're gonna do I was gonna go over a Verizon bill today, so we're gonna go right back to the instructions now that I have the letter, and we're gonna figure out who Verizon's trustee and indenture trustee are, right? The reason why we need to figure out who they are again was because they're the ones who are facilitating this. They're the ones that we are told to contact for these specific purposes, right? The trustees are in charge of this stuff. So we're gonna go to, all right, we're gonna Google the company name, right? So you guys simply just have to copy this just like this. Crap. All right. So now we're gonna put Verizon, and it's usually pop up at the top. So we're gonna click on it, and lo and behold, indenture between Verizon Master Trust as trust, and then we have U.S. Bank Trust Company National Association as indenture trustee. Okay. So we're gonna copy this name. And we're gonna put it right here, just like that. Okay. Then we're gonna get their address. Looks like they have 3 addresses. Wondering if it's the closest one. We're gonna go with the one on the SEC. Here, we're gonna go with this address because it's on the SEC, Securities Exchange. U.S. Bank Trust Company, National Association. Okay, so we're gonna go with this address and this number for Verizon Communications. Okay. All right, and this is very important because we want to send this information to the right people. We want to send it to the right place and the right people. Extremely important we do that. All right, so now I have that information. I've put my personal info up there, right? Name, address, etc. Then we'll put the date. All right. Now, personally, I'm gonna put also Verizon's information. So on the bill here, it tells us, right? It always tells us where to send the bills, right? Or the bonds, securities. I'm gonna call them bills for this case because everybody knows them as bills, right? So this is who we're gonna send it to as well. I'm gonna CC him in there. But this is the main person. So this is just a formal notice, right, guys? It's a formal notice for power of attorney. So we can send it to them. Like we can create another letter to send it to them as well. But I just kept it aside because they're also where we're sending the bill. So they'll also receive notice. But the trustee is the majority say, right? So we're gonna leave the trustee here, and the creditor that we are dealing with here is Verizon. But I'm gonna go with the name they have here. Where did I see it? Right. Verizon Communications Incorporated. All right, so I'm gonna highlight this so just so you guys can keep up with what I'm editing. And then your name. And then use the all caps name. So, right. So I've edited those 2 pieces. I'm gonna continue on to also editing this part as well. What else I got here? Editor name as well. Right. Then we're gonna give them a specific time frame. Right. I'm gonna say 15 days, 15 business days. Put some pressure on them. Right, same thing here. All right, you guys following me so far? This I'm just going through the motions here to show you how I'd fill out this template. And that I'm
Yes.
not missing anything here. All right. Creditor name. Perfect. Present name. Okay. Then 15 days. All right. We're almost good to go here. So now we're going to get to the bottom section where we're going to require the notarization. All right, in this particular section, I'm going to put, again, the first last name, but this is a lower caps because you're going to be the agent here. Now, does anyone understand what I mean by agent and principal? Does anyone need me to clarify that?
Can you clarify that for me?
Yeah. So when you are technically on by contract, right? The reason you are claiming power of attorney is because you're the agent on behalf of the corporation name. So the all caps name, right? The one that is being issued the bill, that is the corporation, but you are the agent on behalf of the corporation. So now you're signing this statement here on behalf of the corporation, right? On behalf of the corporation so that you can administer this.
Okay, thank you.
Right. And this is why you guys don't necessarily you don't need any trusts, you don't need anything to do this stuff. You can do this right now because it's a legal tender, it's a legal form of payment. But that's why when you guys are starting to do your trusts and you're changing your status, the secret is to make sure that all your documents reflect your status, right? Your status as the agent. You are the one who is ministering. You're not an actual corporation. A corporation is a fiction, it's a fiction entity, right? You're technically just there to administer everything on behalf, right? So the rest of this is for the notary. You don't have to touch this. All right, I'll put a line here for a signature. Okay. So you're gonna basically sign. It'll tell them exactly who you are. And we've simply filled out the corresponding information. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tedious, guys. You're gonna need to do this for every company you have a contract with, right? Every company you have a contract with, you're gonna need to find the indenture trustee, get their address and their location, and send it to them. I'm actually gonna be very specific now and figure out who the CEO of this company is. I'm gonna specify it. The CEO or CFO.
What do you mean, everybody, that we're in contract with, like where you work and everything?
No, so everyone I basically sends you bills.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay.
Everyone that sends you bills. If you're in contract with them, they send you bills every single month. That means that you have an agreement with them, right? It's an agreement that you have to, and maybe I could award it different. Yeah, it's an agreement that you have with them so that they can basically administer these bonds to you and issue them to you on your behalf, and you have to be the one to finalize them, right? U.S. Bank. All right, so we got John Stern and Andy. I'm gonna add both of them. I don't care. It's going straight to them. Going straight to them. All right, the reason I'm addressing it to the CEOs, guys, is for the simple fact that they can't come back and say that it wasn't sent to anybody. It's been issued to them. Cool. All right, so this is pretty much complete, right? So we've gone through and we've included all of the information that we need to for this particular document, right? And so that's easier for you guys to see. We're basically informing them in this entire letter, right? And you guys can go through and read this on your own. But we're revoking their power of attorney, and we're informing them that we are taking back the actual rights, and we're actually ceasing and desist that we're ceasing and desisting them from being an authorized representative on your behalf, right? They can no longer just make decisions. You're the ultimate decision maker at this point, right? And that's another thing you guys can do is these same letters can also be sent to like your banks and stuff, right? You can send these to your banks because what's happening is if you guys just stopped using your bank account for X amount of months, they're gonna shut it down on your behalf, acting on behalf of you, right? Even though you did nothing wrong, you simply just weren't actively using the bank account, right? Who's to say that you have to use your bank account? It's crazy to me. If I open a bank account and I want to use it in 6 months, I will use it in 6 months. They shouldn't have to be able to shut it down on my behalf all because I didn't use it. I want to be able to shut it down on my own recourse, right? Second, once they shut down a bank account on your behalf, they counted against you. They reported the check systems, and they reported the check systems and tell check systems that you uninvoluntarily had a bank account shut down, and it counts against your bank scores. So when you're going to apply for business bank accounts, it counts against you, and you get rejected for business bank accounts. So in the end, they're still not working on our behalf, right? So when you look at a trustee and what their actual role is, they have a fiduciary responsibility, right? And I'm going to explain to you what that is. So when they're acting as trustee, they have to act in our best interest, right? So so you got the trustee here, right? Using trust assets only for the benefits of the beneficiary. Again, it's for the benefit of the beneficiary. Now, is it for the benefit of you to shut your account down? Like, how does that benefit you? And then how does it benefit you to report negative information so that I can't get access to a business bank account? It's not, right? They also have what's called a fiduciary responsibility, right? Someone who manages money or property for someone else, right? When you're named a fiduciary and accept the role, you must by law manage the person's money and property for their benefit, not yours. You understand, guys? They have a fiduciary responsibility as a trustee to manage our bank accounts, our assets, etc., but they're not actually doing it to benefit us, right? It's to benefit them. Is that all making sense so far? So basically, this entire document is to revoke all power of doing so. This is we're completely telling them like, hey, you're on notice. We're letting you know right now you no longer are in power of this, right? No longer empower this. So now that I've built the letter, right? Let's say I have another company, right? I'm gonna do T-Mobile. I'm gonna go and rinse and repeat the same process that I've shared with you already. You're gonna go find out the indenture trustee. You're gonna figure out what their address is. You're gonna add it here, and you're just gonna fill out the template according, right? You're gonna fill in the blanks, right? Because everything was already laid out for you guys from the beginning. You just have to go through and fill in the blanks in the template. You don't need to do any other extra work other than taking it to a notary so that they can witness you signing this in front of them, right? You want them to witness you in front of them. And it doesn't really matter how you do it. You can make two copies of this and notarize both of them and keep one copy, or you can get one notarized, make copies of them, and then keep the original. Because the copies are for you to have on file if you need to take them to court for any reason. If you're gonna keep anything on file, it's again to have paper trail of all the notices you've sent to these companies in the event that they want to give you a hard time with this process. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. Again, you're going to send this to all of the companies that you have any bonds or securities that you're getting monthly statements from, right? Whether it be a water bill, uh, electric bill, phone bill, all of them, right? Awesome. So now we're going to head back to the instructions again. So we've done step 1 and we've done step 2. Okay. So let's say we've mailed this out. We've already mailed this out to the company. It's up to you guys how you want to mail it. You can mail it express so they can get there faster, or you could do standard mailing time. Once they have received it, right? Once they have received it, there is no processing. There's none of that stuff. You just want to confirm they received it, right? I would also send a green return receipt. Once they have received it, then you want to start sending all of your other documents. You want to start sending all the endorsed instruments and all the endorsed uh, documents, correct? So, so now that you've done that, we're gonna move on to getting the endorsement done, right? Now that we've sent the instrument over to all the respective parties or the respective party, we've called them, confirmed that they received the document. Now we can start sending everything off. Because what you don't want to do is send the fact that you're revoking their power of attorney and then all of these other documents at the same time because there's no actual sequence or structure to it. Right? We want to actually take their power first, then we can start administering all of the documents that we have power of attorney to administer. Step 3, we're going right into the endorsement part, right? We're gonna get right into the endorsement part where I'm gonna show you the example, okay? So some of you probably have run into situations where you don't receive a statement for the month. That's okay. If you're printing it online, you actually want to print it on a specific type of paper. I'm gonna add the link here shortly. All right, I'm gonna add the link here shortly. Let me just go on Amazon and tell you what it is. It's called yeah, it's linen paper, right? You can get it right on Amazon. I'll add the link. Actually, I'll do it right now. right? Under 30 pounds. And a paper. Right? So the reason why you're using linen paper, guys, is because it's a bond, right? You guys are dealing with a bond. So this is bond paper. You're using bond paper to literally print out your bond, right? You're going to use bond paper. This is only if you guys run into the problem where you don't have the actual billing statement, right? If the billing statement never arrived for some reason and you have to go online to see your bank statement or your billing statement, you would then you then have to print it and then print it on this specific type of paper so that you can endorse it and send it, right? It's a very particular type of paper and you want to use that type of paper. So the link is here. If you guys are printing online, that's it. If you're not printing online, you guys receive it by mail, you don't even need to worry about this. You don't even need to think about this. But that's an alternative if you didn't receive that statement for whatever reason. So for those of you who haven't already ordered your restrictive endorsement stamp, the link is here, right? You want to order that stamp, make sure you have that. But in this example, I'm going to actually do a virtual stamp example so that you guys can see how that looks. And then you also want to order physical like book stamps, right? I recommend ordering, 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, and $5 stamps. $10 is if you're really doing large amounts, guys. You don't really need to have a bunch of $10 stamps. But the reason you need stamps again is because it's the tax payment you're paying to the post office for this service, right? So we're gonna stamp and sign the promissory note. So this is where we're gonna get right into the example, okay? Let me show you here. Where is it? And I'll also include this in the campus. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Awesome. So basically everything I have highlighted in blue is edited, right? So I added this version, right? Blue. So I just stated that it's trustee. Now remember, you guys are going to be writing this out. I'm giving you guys a real time example of what this would look like if you were filling it out right now, right? So I'll start at the top, right? I want to label that they are the trustee because they are. We're going to accept this for the value. All right, it's all accepted, and we're going to sign and endorse without or sign, and then we're going to state without recourse. This is the special endorsement, right? So there's no specific order of how you're going to endorse any of this, guys, right? You're just going to endorse the whole thing. So if you want to stamp it first, find a space within the document where it will fit and it won't interfere with any of the other important information. So yeah, you don't want to cover, account numbers. You don't want to cover any of these. I believe they're like routing numbers, the bond numbers, right? You don't want to be covering any of this stuff, right? You want to keep it pretty cut and dry, right? So with that being said, as you can see here, the perforated line is is where I've placed a stamp. I've covered both the top and bottom. Now, rereading the instructions as it says stamp and sign the promissory note, right? Upper left corner, apply the restrictive endorsement. And then you want to see this for the guidance, right? So we'll get back to that in just a second so that I can give you the specifics again on why I put it right here in between the perforated line where it's supposed to be ripped, right? I'm going to explain that to you very shortly. And then you want to sign the coupon at the bottom of the bill statement, right? And for contracts, it says here to sign the back. So before, when I was sharing with you guys to endorse the back of the each of the bills or the statements, the instructions on the CFR are telling us that we could do it right on the front, right? We don't need to do the back. We could do it right on the front. We're going to pay it to the order of the company, right? By the agent and then by accommodation, right? The principal, right? It's going to sign it. And that's basically how we're going to endorse it, right? We're going to endorse it by simply following the instructions. So I'm going to get right to the instructions again. So we're on this section here. We're going to get right back to restrictive endorsements. I'm going to explain to you where it says that. Get right to the point. It's not here. Where the heck did I put that? It says here. All right. When you stamp the security, the goal is to make it official so that the Federal Reserve or IRS knows what it's for. You'll be stamping the left side of the security. So in this particular section, what it means is we're doing a special endorsement, right? There's a special and the restrictive, right? There's two. And this is what I want to explain. So this one right here is a special endorsement, right? We can actually, it's up to you guys. You can put this information here, right? Where, you know, by accommodation, and then you can include the name here. Just like this, right? Or however you want to do it. You can have it right over on this side, guys. I'm showing you guys how I've done it, right? And the instructions tell you you have to endorse it specifically on the left side. So we're gonna do that special endorse right here. So we have our special endorsement. This is our restrictive endorsement. So this is special, restrictive, right? Maybe I can pretend this is like some sort of like a stamp for you guys. Just like this, right? We'll pretend that's a stamp. And we went through and we stated that who it's by the agent, right? The agent, right? Lower caps name, and it's accommodating the principal, which is the all caps name, and then it's signed, right? This is the special endorsement. This is the restrictive endorsement. There are two types. And when I first started this process, I was only using the special endorsement, right? And I was showing you guys to use a special endorsement on the back. But after reading the CFR instructions, it says that you endorse the back of contracts. So if you have like a leasing agreement, that's a contract. This is an agreement. It's a little bit different, and it's also an instrument, right? They're a little bit different. So everything I'm sharing with you guys is basically following the instructions, right? Because if we do anything off, they told us from the beginning, like if you miss any steps, then they're not gonna deem it as it's qualified, right? They're gonna basically ignore it, or they're gonna keep it because it's not that we didn't follow and meet all of the requirements. Okay. So you be stamping the left side of security. Here's how to do it right. Use the special stamp or template, right? You must stamp this, etc. Right? Be clear and not cover the serial number and other important details on the security. Include the name of the Federal Reserve Bank, which we did here, which is United States Treasury. United States Treasury. That's the bank that we're sending it to, right? Because remember, on the original template, it didn't have United States Treasury. It was the Fiscal Bank of the United States, right? It was different. I changed this for you guys to United States Treasury because that's our bank. This is the bank that we're going to be exchanging securities with, right? We're not dealing with Wells Fargo or Chase, etc. We're going straight to the Treasury because this is where all these bonds and instruments are going to. They're going straight to the Treasury. So that's why it's restrictively endorsing it to the Treasury. Otherwise, what will end up happening is if we don't restrictively endorse it to the Treasury, they then can turn around and claim it for themselves because there was nothing restricting it from being claimed by a third party. Trying to remember where it says. So it was in the instructions here. The dimensions. I'm gonna have to find this later, but the reason I put this here was because in the instructions it states that you don't, in order for this instrument to not be claimed or, right? Because what can happen is if I place this, right? Let's say I place this here, right? Up here somewhere, they can still rip this and this is not restrictive. It's no longer restrictive, guys. Does that make sense? So by placing a portion of it on the actual bond, both instruments are restrictive because they can't remove the stamp. They can't remove the stamp. And the only rule to this was to not block any important information, right? This was majority of the information that they didn't want us to block. So what we're doing in this particular case is we're not allowing them to rip this thing apart and then claim it for themselves because we didn't actually restrict it. We just told them it's paid to the order of them and it's going to go directly to them. This restriction is claiming that it's for redemption in exchange for securities of new issue in accordance with written instructions submitted by, right? And this is the restrictive endorsement that we've been missing and we need in order for this to work. And this is why following what they're telling us to do is going to work because they're telling us what to do. They're literally telling us what to do. And they're telling us too, if you don't follow what I'm telling you, you're not going to get redemption. It's just not going to happen. So the restrictive endorsement is getting placed here. So I'm going to show you a couple other examples. So this is like electric bill. I'm going to show you like a water bill example. And we're going to go over the same thing again so that you guys have a little bit of rep. But so far, I've covered pretty much everything in the instruction, right? As far as what needs to be executed from a step-by-step process. So when you look at this particular portion, we need to just go through the stamp. So we're going to go through step 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 to wrap this up, but we've gone through all the steps for the endorsement. So we're going to include the memo account on the bottom, right? So that's included here, this memo. And again, I'm going to post this example in the campus so you guys can have it to see in reference. But for the purpose of the call, just show you guys. I'm going through this step by step so you guys can follow this. This will be your checklist. So when you guys are doing the endorsement, you'll know where to start and where to finish. So you're executing it in the order it should be done in. Right? We've already declared that it's agent for all caps accommodation, which is right here. Right? Again, these are all part of the instruction. This is what it's telling us to do. We want to apply the postal stamps, right? The postal stamps can be in the lower right corner. All right, you can use 10-cent stamps or 5-cent stamps. Again, you're not gonna need $5 or $10 stamps unless it's high value accounts. So if you're like doing transactions of 50,000 or more, then you would start using like the $5 stamps, $10 stamps, etc. But for now, we're just gonna be limited to these. So when it comes to the stamp, I'm gonna show you where I would put the stamp, all right? And I'm gonna put it in a place where it's not gonna interfere with. And just bear with me. I'm like trying to digitally do this for you guys. All right. So I'm gonna put, say, a green stamp, right? So we got 2 stamps. Cool. Boom. All right. Now you see that I got my stamps, right? Like I said, it doesn't matter where you put it. You could put it here, right? As long as you're not blocking any other important information, right? You don't want to block any other important information. So I've placed my stamps, right? I got my stamps on the document. Next, right? I'm going to attach these 2 letters, right? The redemption of instrument letter and all accounts prepaid letter, right? And you guys obviously know where to find them. They're right here at the bottom, right? It's here as well as here. So you're going to attach those as well because you're going to need those letters. Guys, those are the special instructions. They will not do anything for you if you're not instructing them. You are the boss. Guys, you are the administrator. You tell them what to do. The same way when you don't pay your bill, they send you a letter in the mail letting you know that we will shut you down if you don't pay your bill, right? You're doing the same thing, right? You're informing them that, hey, I've sent you this instrument that you need to redeem this to the treasury. You need to redeem this according to the instructions. Otherwise, we'll take legal action, right? Because it's their job, it's their duty as a trustee, their fiduciary responsibility, right? And we're instructing them. We're instructing them because the moment we hand it over to them, they are still trustee guys, right? We're the beneficiary in this case, but we're just acting on behalf of the all caps name, right? So now we're gonna send those letters. We're gonna send those letters as well as the instrument, right? We're going to send it as well as the instrument, all of this together. Okay. Now you guys are wondering, okay, where am I sending these letters? You're going to send these letters to the address it tells you. All right. It says here, and remember, all your contracts are different, guys. Like they tell you in all your, so I'm telling you right now, you guys have to read your bills statements, your bonds. It tells you here, right? Many billing questions can be resolved easily online, right? Customer service can assist you by phone, chat, retail store, billing questions and disputes. All written communication related to billing disputes, checks tendered as payment in full, and billing dispute may be sent to the address below. Right? Check the box that describes how we can keep you along. We can help you along with any additional information, right? So they're telling you right here where to send it to. Billing disputes, checks tendered as payment in full. It's telling you where to send it, right? It's not, because remember, this address here, this Verizon P.O. Box, Albany, New York, it's not where it came from. So you sending it to this address is completely wrong, right? Remember, you're sending the power of attorney to the trustee. So the trustee and that's your trustee is aware of the fact they are on notice now. But now you're sending all of these other documents directly to where it's instructing you to send it. Because they're collecting all of the payments, right? So this is the address that you're going to be using to send these two letters to, right? Lastly, you want to send it via registered mail, right? Green return receipt, registered mail, green return receipt, right? I'm going to include those details for you guys. So you guys, it's on you guys to read your actual statement, and it's telling you where to send those documents. Some of them even say remittance, like where to mail your remittance documents or remittance coupons, etc. It tells you. So that's the place you want to send it. All right. We want to send green return receipt and certified mail, right? That's key because you're going to get this receipt once it's been delivered and you save it. You keep that on file because that's your proof of delivery, right? And if they don't redeem it, you have proof of delivery and they either redeem it or return it because it's a security instrument, right? And you have proof that they are in possession of it with this actual document. And then you have also proof that there's a tracking number of where it was and where it was sent, right? You have all this information as proof. Everything is documentation. Second, lastly, you want to send it all in an envelope, right? The yellow envelopes. You don't want to fold it in the white envelopes, guys. You don't want to fold any of these documents. Send them in full. Because you don't want to fold any of these documents. You want to keep them in the condition they're in, especially, if we're going to be adding things like stamps, etc. We want to send them the full copy, right, to them in full. So in the end, this is how it should look. This is how an endorsed bond should look. You've got your stamps, right? I added this here because it's, a name. I blocked out this name for privacy reasons. And then this specifically is technically would be the person's name, right? That's receiving it. I'm going to correct that because that's the all caps name, right? That's the all caps name receiving that. And then we put the full amount paid in full, right? Guys, I included that here as well because it is being paid in full, right? And this is where it says billing disputes and checks tendered as payment in full to billing dispute must be sent to the address below. Telling you where it needs to go. So we've gone through all the steps, right? We started with the revocation of power of attorney, right? We're gonna send this first and foremost, so that this is stuff that you guys, if I was you, I would start this tonight or tomorrow, or when you get time, um, just go through all of your statements, right? All the companies that you have agreements with, and just start finding all of their indenture trustees, right? You want to find the indenture trustees, right? You're not looking for the trust because AT&T Inc. is the trust. You want the trustee, all right? And it's usually going to be a bank. The bank is usually the trustee. There's always going to be a bank that's their trustee, their middleman. And you're going to do that for all the companies, and you're going to send them all the power of attorney. So as you're sending all that stuff off, you can start working on endorsing all of the instruments, right? And in that time, you want to go through and order your stamp if you don't already have one. If you just want to have that bond paper on handy, then you can order it. It's up to you guys. Remember, it's for people who don't actually have the physical paper bond, but it's completely optional. And when I ordered my stamp, I believe I spent about $62, guys, like after everything. Because I ordered this, I specifically chose version 1 for the simple fact that version 1 is the exact one we need, right? Right, it's to the United States Treasury, because version 2 is, remember, fiscal agent of the United States. That's not the one you need. You don't want to pick version 2, 3, 4, or 5. You want version 1. So I did wooden stamp, right? You guys can pick whatever one you want. I'm not paying extra, $54 on for a pre-inked stamp. I'll do the old school with the ink pad. I did get an extra ink pad. That was an extra $12. And so it was 42 plus, shipping, etc. It was around like $60. So I'd prepare for you guys to spend about $60 for that stamp, and it takes 1 to 2 days for it to ship, and I believe it's 5 to 7 days to arrive. So you're looking about like a week and a half for you guys to get the stamp. So if you guys want to get the ball rolling with this, right, this would be a good opportunity to send all the power of attorneys first. Start ordering all the stuff that you need to start getting the ball rolling with all of this. And then go get some books of stamps, right? You can go right to, you can get a book of stamp anywhere, right? Post office, go order it online at Amazon. But you want to get your hands on all of these tools so that you can use them to start moving forward with this process. Is that all making more sense now that I've gone over it like step by step, and giving you guys like a visual idea of how you would go through and stamp this?
Yes, it was
Perfect.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the information. Appreciate it.
Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna upload this example. Um, I'll upload it here at the bottom, like at the bottom of this exact campus, so you guys can have it. If you guys don't have any questions for me, that would pretty much wrap up the call. My goal today was really to go over the restrictive endorsement process. There is more I've been discovering about it when it comes to, tendering these payments. Like there's actually ways you can go directly to a bank, and the bank can, submit the payment on your behalf through Treasury Direct, but that requires like a bunch of other steps, right? We'll talk about stuff like that later down the road. Right now, the goal is to understand the process, read through the laws, right? I encourage you guys to go through this stuff again, the instructions, because I simplified it as much as possible for you, so that you can understand how this works. You should be able to articulate this to anybody that you're on the phone with, right? If they're giving you a hard time, you can challenge them. You can say, no, like this is how it works, right? This is your job to understand this stuff. I just went and did the due diligence of making sure you guys have the right tools and we're following the right process, right? And this process isn't anything I came up with. Again, it's everything that I have read and followed based off of what CFR and the UCC codes have told me we should be doing.
But actually looking at you doing it, like it actually like make more sense now.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, it's not that hard, guys. Really, like once you do one just like this, the rest is pretty easy. The most important part, guys, is really understanding how all of this works. That is the most important. That's why I encourage you guys, like on your downtime, go back, read the material, right? Read the material, become masters of this stuff because this is your future, right? If you understand and master this, you're not going to be dealing with this stuff anymore. Right? It's all of the currency that you're going to work for, it's going to stay back in your pocket. But the key is to follow the instructions. So that being said, if you guys don't have any questions for me, we'll wrap up the call there.
Yep. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
You too. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.